May it never happen again. This is the wish of the people of Koshebe in Mafa local government area of Borno State after witnessing horrific massacre of 44 farmers by Boko Haram in November 2020. In this weekend special, Babajide Kolade Otitoju embarked on a tortuous journey to Koshebe on Boxing Day, where he met with farmers who recounted the gory experience of what never to be forgotten day. What they went is simple, an end of insurgency. Let's share the story with you.
On Friday, the 27th of November 2020, Boko Haram terrorists carried out one of their most terrifying and unthinkable attacks on civilians in the village of Koshebe, Mafa local government area of Borno State. The devastating attacks earned condemnation for the terrorist group both at home and abroad, reinforcing the need for the Boko Haram insurgency to be defeated quickly to bring the pains it inflicts on the people to an end. On Boxing Day 2021, I set out on a walking visit to Koshebe to see what the village looks like 13 months after the brutal beheading of 44 rice farmers.
Ibrahim, are you ready?
Not willing to take chances, the theater commander, Operation Hardin K, Major General Christopher Musa, and the commander, 7th Division Garrison, Brigadier General AGL Aruna, provided 8 gun trucks and dozens of soldiers, some of them armed with rocket-propelled grenades, to enable me embark on the journey. They picked me up from my hotel and we set out for the dusty trip to Koshebe. General Aruna, who graciously allowed me to ride in his gun truck, ordered the traveling party to stop at a nearby military base so he could pick more soldiers and gun trucks.
He has already sent advance party to go and marry off.
Koshebe, which is closer to Jere local government than Mafa local government, where it is located, is under the protection of the battle-tested 195 Battalion of the Nigerian Army. We picked up the acting commander of the battalion, Major A. Ibrahim. After a little over an hour, we arrived in Koshebe, where we met Captain Aloysius. Major Ibrahim and Captain Aloysius recalled the experience of November 27, 2020 and spoke on the security situation currently. Right now we are at Koshebe, where dozens of farmers were slaughtered, and I have with me the commanding officer of the 195 Battalion, Major Ibrahim. Major Ibrahim, thanks for bringing us here.
You're welcome, sir.
It's such a terrible memory. And of course, the OC, Charlie Company, Captain Aloysius is here. He's provided security for us to be able to visit this place today. Thank you, Captain Aloysius.
Welcome, sir.
Major Ibrahim, you have some memory of what happened that day.
Actually.
Can you just tell us a little bit of what happened?
Actually, what happened that day was a terrible one. The Boko Haram terrorists took advantage of the farmers and sneak in, gather some dozens of them in the name of trying to preach for them, not knowing that they are there to take their life. They innocently surrender themselves to them. At the end of the day, they slaughter them. That's a terrible memory, sir.
Yes, Captain Aloysius,
Yes.
you are on ground at this time.
Yes.
Give me an idea of the security situation at this time. Are the farmers able to plant their crops at this time?
Okay, thank you very much. Presently now, the security situation within this general area is calm, very, very calm. More better than it was last year when the unfortunate incident happened. Because right now, the farmer's house also extended their line of farming. That's to say they have gone more and more forward to farm.
Okay.
And presently there have not been any situation. Their farming activities has been going on normal.
Koshebe is a farming settlement. The people here plant tomatoes, pepper, watermelon, maize, and rice, among others. But there is also a big plantation here, which according to those I spoke to, offered cover to the terrorists. Once we got to the rice fields, I engaged some of the farmers on ground on what transpired on the day their colleagues were massacred.
Akwai yayan babana, shi ma lokacin ya an kashe shi. Kuma na biyu ma akwai yayan babana, shi ma a rana ne aka kashe shi. Kuma akwai na uku, shi ma aka kashe. A family namu ya kai mutum 7 abin da aka kashe.
Haba.
Ranar da sun da wannan a family namu ba ya kai mutum 7 abin da aka kashe. Yanzu mun samu sauki. Yanzu da wannan ba mu samu zo mu yi aiki a nan ba. Yanzu gashi idan mun dawo in mutum bai ji tsoro ba ma har kwana zai yi. Amma da wannan ba kai sa ka zo ka wuce wannan wajen ba. Da wannan cikin mangulo wannan ba ba kai sa ka zo ka wuce ba wannan mangulon nan.
Suna ɓoye kansu
a cikin mangulo wannan ba. Da wannan ba kai sa ka zo iya makafartan gudawa nan. In mutum ya tsallake in ba kwanan shi ya yi abun nan ba kam. Amma yanzu mun samu sauki gashi ana mu aikin tariku muna yi dashen gashi yanzu haka albasa muna dashewa kuma akwai tarikun da mun dasa. Mun gode mu a gwamna, mun gode mu a jami'an tsaro, mun gode musu kokarin da suka yi muna mun samu sauki. Bara wancan da ya wuce wannan mun zo mun yi noman shinkafa amma sun zo ba mu da hali mu zo mu zauna mu yi koren sunsu. Shinkafa mu gaba daya sunsu ya bata shi amma bana wannan mun zo mun nome alhamdulillah mun samu abinci fiye da yanki ake zoto mun samu abinci.
Ranar da aka kashe mutane a lokacin mu ba mu zo gona ba amma da muka ji wannan labarin ba mu shigo nan ba amma akwai wanda suka shigo kuma sun ji labarin aka kashe mutane kuma sun gudu sun koma. Akwai yayana ma wanda suka kashe a wajen tun da aka kashe mutane nan after now yanzu mu sake samun matsala ba. Sojoji suna zuwa suna operation namu suna komawa suna zuwa kullum idan muka zo gona su ma suna bin mu a baya suna operation suna patrol suna zuwa suna patrol kuma suna komawa da civilian GTF suna zuwa suna komawa suna dan zagaya mu kwana 1-2 yayi suna zuwa suna patrol suna komawa suna duba kanmu. Gaskiya da yake muna cikin matsala amma yanzu gaskiya hankalinmu a kwance muna zuwa yanzu idan mutum bai ji tsoro ba zai iya kwana a nan zai iya yini a nan.
Sun zo ranar Juma'a da daddare washe garin Asabar sun zo sun tattara masu yankan shinkafa gefe-gefen nan gaba daya sun tura su cikin gari sun dinga kama su suna yankawa. In sun zo a cikin gidan da sun rufe za su cire mutum daya za a tafi da shi. Idan an cire mutum din za a ce za a yi maka tambaya arama zai tambayan ka in sun tafi za su yanka za su dawo suna zuwa suna dawo har ya zan sun zo da yuka a cikin gida suna ganin jini a hannunsu mutane sun firgita sauran suka ce an ba mu sa ana yanka mutane ba ku gudu sun gudu haka muka ji sun gaya mana cikin daga baya sojojin zamamari sun zo an kawo doki an zo da wuri da turafta an zo an doki gawakin wanda an yanki an tafi da su wasu kuma ba a magan gawansu ba sai daga baya.
Kana nan gari ranar da wani mutane sun zo suka kashe mutane?
Na gari tabbas.
Ka gudu ne ko?
Na gudu mana ya zai tsaya wallahi. Nan ko gansu ai ba zai iya tsaya musu ba.
Ka gansu?
Ban gansu ba ido da ido gaskiya.
Ka ji labari?
Na ji labari.
Kawai sai ka gudu?
Na gudu.
Wani mutane sun dawo kuwa?
Gaskiya ba su dawo ba. Kuma gaskiya mun samu ci gaba sosai bisa ga yanda ke tafiya. Sana can baya mun wahala. Amma yanzu gaskiya daɗi muke ci gaskiya.
Mutane mafiya masu yankan shinkafa shine wasu 'yan boko haram suka zo suka kama su suka yanka su bayan wannan abin da aka yi har zuwa yau alhamdulillah wani abu yana baya yanzu mun samu sauki sosai tun da muka fito wata 7 na turawa julai ko noma to har zuwa yanzu ba mu ga wani abun da zai tarmar hankali har zuwa yanzu ba abun da mun gani wanda remi baya so ba mu gani ba amma wancan lasiya abun da ya faru kowa ya gani daga baya Allah ya kawo mana sauki yanzu mun yi aikin mu alhamdulillah mun kawo amfanin gona mun kai gida alhamdulillah mun gode wa Allah mun gode wa gwamnamu na Borno mun gode wa babban soja namu na Borno har oga hakar kai mun gode duk kullum kuna zuwa muna aiki kuna control duk lokacin da mu zama ga sojoji a daji hankali mu kuma kwance don saboda haka mun gode wa Allah mun gode wa sojoji mun gode wa duk ma'aikatan police civilian GTF duka mun gode.
It was then time to go to the spot where the farmers were gathered before being slaughtered. Boko Haram insurgents gathered peasant farmers inside this yard, pretending to preach to them. But from this location, they were then moved to another facility where they were slaughtered. There were still traces of dried blood and footwears of the victims in the building where they were eventually slaughtered. Thanks to improvement in security, the farmers have even extended their rice fields, something they couldn't have contemplated a year ago. Brigadier General Garuba Haruna is happy with the security situation and the general indices of progress.
The first time we had the attack where we lost those civilians, those farmers, it will be very difficult for you to access this place. But look at it now, they have expanded even beyond where the incident occurred. They are farming freely, they are moving about their business, and none of them has reported to us of any uncanny behavior on any enemy activity. So I think we should thank God. Things have improved. Remember, there was a time when the enemy thought he could come in unhindered. I'm referring to the Chabol issue. They came and unfortunately they made their Waterloo. We buried 25 of them, and in this situation, if you're able to bury 25, in fact, one of a Boko Haram member, you should know that you have killed so many of them, and so many would have been wounded. So the situation is okay, and we are not relaxing. We are being relentless on ensuring that the entire security of not only Borno, that's the municipal council, but the entire theater is secured. And happily enough, we have been having that cooperation from other sister agencies, the paramilitaries and so on. Yes. We work together. There's a lot of synergy now. Yes. We work together, we move together. In terms of information dissemination, once they get it, they send to us, and we don't joke with any information. We move about, we ensure that we trace the root of the incident or whatever. If it is an issue of the enemy trying to intrude, we make sure we go and lay in wait for him. And as such, sincerely speaking, that is why the enemy today has decided to be using long-range missiles or bombs to fire. He could not come down because he knows if he comes, he will definitely go to hell. That's the truth.
But my job was not done yet. From Koshebe, we moved to Zabamari, Jere local government area, where the 44 slaughtered farmers were buried. Here I spoke with one of the survivors of the Boko Haram attack.
Muna zuwa sai muka same su garin Koshebe. Muna samun su garin Koshebe sai suka ce ina za mu je? Muka je za mu je gida. Me za ku yi gida? Muka ce za mu je akwai uzurin za mu kai ku a ai mu ƙarya kuka mun san abin da zai kai ku wajen siyasa kun kai ko ba mu da labari su boko din ba sai muka ce mu za mu je gida uzurin mu sai suka ce to yanzu kun san abin da za a yi muka ce ba mu sani ba to abin da za a yi yanzu menene kuka dauko ga kanku muka ce mu daga kama kifi muke sai suka ce to yanzu wannan kifin naku wannan ku aje idan kun aje yanzu ku yi hankuri akwai abin da muke so ba wanda zamu sai muka aje kifin namu da muka aje kifin namu sai suka samu gaba muna tafiya muna hira hankalin ku tashi ba abin da zamu yi muku hankalin ku tashi ba abin da zamu yi muku to muna taya sai muka samu wasu suna yankan shinkafa sai suka ce to wannan mutanen fa muka ce a su aikin shinkafa suke to da kudin duk ku kwaso ku taho mu tayi ku zo mu je garin Koshebe ku ga inda zamu dafa abinci shikenan gaba ɗaya suka samu gaba muna hira shikenan mu biyu ne farkon kamawa din ko da mun ka taho duk gefe da masu kamun ki da masu aikin shinkafa sun tara mutane gabaki daya mun a cikin gida gaba ɗaya sun tara kuma duk sun hake mutane da bindigogi shikenan sai suka ce to yanzu kun san abin da ya sa muka tara ku muka ce ba mu sani ba to kafin ku yanzu ya za a yi kuna garin zaurmari ku ce ba ku san abin da ya faru ba muka ce ba mu sani ba suka ce ba ku sani ba to shikenan kafin mu muku tambaya ɗaya bayan ɗaya bari mu faɗa muku abin da ya faru kuna da labarin da yan gora da sojoji sun je garin Karkus sun je sun yaƙe mu har sun ɗauki mashin namu ɗaya sun taɓa mu da mutane kuna labari kowa sai ya shiru shikenan sai suka ce to za mu yi muku tambaya ɗaya bayan ɗaya to ita ce tambaya ɗaya bayan ɗaya ba mu san kowace irin tambaya ba ce shikenan muna cikin gida to sun tara mu sama da mutum 30 to ni dai a ciki sai suka ce mana to yanzu ga baki ɗaya duka sai suka samu mai ɗan kwano da mai fulla sai suka ce da suka tara mu ga baki ɗaya suka ce a zagaya cikin mu duk abin da a cikin mutum a jihun mutum ya cire jewa duk abin da in ba a cire an ka jewa ba in sun caje mutum sun samu wani abu to shi mu kan shi dukkan mun ka cire mun ka jewa da mutum ɗaya to daman gida akwai gambu sai a cire mutum ɗaya sai a ce ya fita hitam da zai yi dama ko mutum uku masu ƙarfi shikenan wannan zai kama nan ɗaya zai ɗaure in ya ɗaure za a fita da kai to inda za a je da kai ba mu sani ba shikenan za a ce kai mataso in ka taso da ɗaɗɗaya ake yi daman ita ce tambaya ɗaya bayan ɗaya a kama wannan a ɗaure a fita a je abinda za a yi da kai ba mu sani ba sai da sun ka gama haka tukun sannan sai suka yi mu da wa'azi suka ce mu bi Allah mai bin manzon shi kuma daga yau gobe ma rana ce duk ranar da mu da sun ba mu za mu nemi abinci har mu je ya kasance mu je mu ga mu sojoji da yan gora har su zo su yaƙe su to nan gaba ba jeji wannan ko masu noma ko masu kaya kifi nan gaba wanda za mu bari shiga jejin nan tunda har za ku je ku ga mu yan gora da soja su zo su yaƙe mu shikenan sai suka ce to yanzu abin da ya rage ga su abin da ya rage to kar ku ce mu ba ku Allah ne ya kwace ku gobe ma rana ce da haka ku tai da hankali in kun je ku kai labari abin da ya faru za su kai kusan mutum go tsakanin 9 da 10 dai gaskiya lokacin hankali na ba daidai ba amma wanda sun je makabarta sun ga abun da an kashe amma ban iya gane cewa ga mutum ko nawa an kashe gaskiya don lokacin dai da an kai wannan abun ne hankali na ba daidai ba wanda zan iya gane mutum 1 2 3 abun da an kashe ba zan iya gane ba
I also had a chat with Bulama Dan Baba, leader of traditional rulers in Zabamari. He said though there is improvement in security, the enemy still comes around.
Mun samu labarin Boko Haram sun zo sun tara su wuri daya sun tafi wani kangon gari wanda ba kowa ciki suka tara su suka ci gaba da yankansu suka ci gaba da yankawa ba wanda ya sani babu karan bindiga babu wani abu da suke ji sama da mutum 44 an samu sauki da yake suna wucewa ba sa yi makowa komai ba sa ce makowa komai sai su wuce su Boko Haram sai su wuce suna wuce a wurin har yanzu sai su wuce amma ko sun ga mutane ba za su yi musu kuma wasu kyali su wuce wani su yi haka wasu su yi haka gabas da Koshebe gabas da wani gari da ake cewa Dunge gabas shi ma suna wucewa ne ba su da wurin zama ba sa zama wucewa suke
ba sa kashe mutane yanzu. Aiki sojoji sun yi aiki, suna aiki. Kuma sun yi aiki kuma suna aiki. Suna patrol don ko yanzu muka zo muka gaya musu. Ɗayar bulama daga cikin mu ya zo gaya musu za su fita. Za su fita. Talaka mun ya zo ya gaya mana report. Ko ya gaya mu wannan yana ko ya gaya mu wannan za su fita su je su je patrol.
The traditional rulers took me to the spot where the murdered rice farmers were buried in 10 graves. November 2020, Boko Haram insurgents came into Koshebe village, gathered peasant farmers, and slaughtered them one after another. The following day, Nigerian troops recovered the victims of the Boko Haram attack, and they were buried at this site. There are 7 graves in front of me and 3 behind me. One whole year after, the people of Zabamari and Koshebe are still concerned about the Boko Haram insurgency, and they would want the army and the government to put an end to the insurgency as soon as possible. Some of the Bulamas that I've spoken with here say they were sure that about 44 persons were buried. The wish of the people is that that kind of tragedy will not happen again. Babajide Kolade Ochitoju, TVC News, Zabamari, Borno State.
That was actually on Boxing Day. We're still celebrating Christmas. Jide, now my issue here is that the extensive security you had, because I saw gun trucks, yes. I saw RPG. As if you guys were going for the main battle.
No, because they were just not going to take chances. As the garrison commander said, 7th Division Garrison Commander, General Garuba Haruna said, we cannot afford to let anything happen to you. He was not meant to accompany me on the trip, but he said, no, Jide, I want to travel with you, you know. And it was this General Haruna that actually led the recapture of Marte from Boko Haram early last year, when the late chief of army staff gave that directive that they should go and clear that area and send those boys packing. It was General Haruna, the 7th Division Garrison Commander, who accompanied me on this trip, that led that operation. And within 24 hours, he delivered Marte, which had been taken from the Nigerian army before then. So I felt comfortable with someone like that. He's hands-on, he goes around with his rifle at all times. He said, look, I'm not going to wait until something happens before I take action. And he said something that, look, this place may appear peaceful, but the enemy is unpredictable. The enemy is unpredictable. You can't be too sure that they cannot strike at a location. You just have to be ready. So even while we were doing the work, you will see that he will tell his guys to spread around us and be ready, because we could come under attack anytime. You know, in this kind of warfare, you must respect the enemy. It is the soldier who has not been properly trained that will not respect an enemy. Respect the enemy, expect that the enemy can strike anytime. So you have to be ready that when he strikes, then you will be able to deal with the situation. So I'm happy to have received that kind of security that enabled me. Even this is the JTF, civilian JTF were also part of the security that I had.
You know, there's always this complaint that they give foreign TV station access to this kind of thing. Thank God that we've been able to build a branch to this level that our own Babajide Otitoju can penetrate any of these areas. And we can't just sit down in the studio and start talking about the war front.
Yes,
he has been there. He knows what he's talking about.
Of course, but very soon we'll begin to call him a war correspondent. You know, you know, I'm excited. I'm happy that at least BKO has been able to go there. This is not his first time.
No, it's not.
You know, so he's giving us the information, first-hand information. So even if he's saying anything on this table, it's because he has gone there and he has seen it.
Quite passionate
with
about
his
it.
own by himself. So he has every fact that he can always present, you know, and we are excited that it's coming from TVC. So when we are saying something about the war and he is saying something about the war, what is happening there, he knows because he has gone there. So we are excited. So it's not only, I think every other force, every other security agencies should see this as a very good platform for them to always invite us, for us to also go for these missions. It is not only the saying that, oh, it is only the CNN, the BBCs that can do this. No, we can also do it. We want to also be there to see, so that we'll tell our own story.
Yes.
We can see how that guy was open to tell BK his own experience, and all the farmers. You can see how they were open, they were excited to say what they actually saw, and that is what we want to do.
You know, when you write at times, you know, on social media, a lot of people misconstrol, or when we talk on the program, they misconstrol it as if
exactly.
we don't,
Exactly,
you know, the soldiers and everything. Now,
they need to see how soldiers received me here. I just laugh at people who sit on Facebook and write absolute rubbish. They need to see how I was received. It will be uncharitable to play some of the comments of soldiers. Soldiers are extremely excited about this program. There's no program in Nigeria that soldiers watch like Journalistic, and they said it with their own mouths. They knew they were being recorded and they were saying it. But it's now my decision whether to go and be, what do I want to gain by playing that?
Exactly.
You know? So the people who think that we hate the army, that's not what the army feels. If the army feels that this person does not like us, will they be risking their lives for because this
will be hostile to you?
I was the one who said I wanted to do this story, and they said, okay, we'll accompany you to the place. You understand? So if it was an enemy, would they do that? Those who went into that building where they were slaughtered, it was a risk that the soldiers were taking, and I was not going to be allowed to go right inside, because you never can tell. Somebody could be hiding there with a gun. They said, no, let our men go inside. These are the risks that soldiers take on behalf of the rest of us. So who is that person in his right senses who will hate the army? So when they post all these people, attention seekers on social media, who say, oh, Jide does not like the army, I just laugh at them. An army that since 2016, there has not been any year that I didn't go to see them.
Let me, the second chunk of my question is, part of my question is, are we winning the war? And did you see any improvement?
What I can say is that the signs that I saw are very good. I saw improvement, but I will not say we are winning the war. You understand? Things can change suddenly within this kind of environment. So the safest thing to say is that I saw things that excited me. Things that showed, that gave me hope. That these boys, their days are numbered. You understand? Maybe if the boys from the Albanawi faction were surrendering, I would have been more hopeful. You understand? Because clearly the people, now more than 24,000 have surrendered, but they are Sheikh House people. And we all know that the Albanawi faction is the faction that is deadlier, that has more firepower. You understand?
Name these numbers, 24,000.
Yes, they've come out, they've said they're fighting. Yes, including their wives and women and children, you know, of course. You know, so then when the weapons are, there's a separate story on what we are doing, what the president has done to make this army stronger. That's a separate story. When you see that, even you will be convinced that this war will end very soon. But you see, because if you have the capacity, you have all those weapons, they will give you an advantage over the enemy.
So are you saying this government, they've done enough that you can see on ground?
In terms
to
of
make
weapons,
sure, because we are always complaining about this.
The president has acquired, bought weapons for the army. You will see it. I will show videos. I don't want to just...
for years, for months, you always see...
Yes,
we don't have the weapon. We don't have...
There was an award that I was given, and inside the National War College, I stood there and I said, Mr. President, buy weapons for the army. The generals in attendance were very angry with me. But I said it. I said, look, game-changing weapons cause emergency weapons procurement to happen. Our military needs it. Those are the things that soldiers hear that I say about their welfare, that they like me. So people who sit on Facebook and because Jide posted a negative story, what they think is negative will now say, Jide hate the army. No, that's nothing like hatred. There is improvement. And that's the essence of talking to people on ground.
Exactly.
I talk to the farmers. They've extended their fields. Their rice fields, they've extended. The boy said it that in the past you cannot walk near that mango plantation. It wasn't me saying it. The essence of going to that location is to hear from the people. Is there improvement? They said yes. Even you, can you see improvement? I see improvement in terms of the weapons that we now have. I see improvement in terms of the weapons that we are now repairing, we are reviving, like the T-72 tanks. So those are the things. But to ask me a straight question, are we winning? I will say we are improving. I will not say
we are winning.
We are winning. No, that's not true. That I will be extremely. I will be too. How do I describe it? To say that I just want to watch things go on. The way it is, their days are numbered, and I expect that in the year 2022. This whole nonsense should come to an end. And I believe that the morale of our soldiers now is very high because they have weapons. They deliver weapons to them. So if things continue this way and we continue to make this progress, we'll soon win the war.
I'm quite excited that yes, if these people, they have the game changer, if they have the weapons, and there was a time, we had a long time, the process of procuring these weapons and everything, it takes time. Now that we have them and we are seeing a kind of improvement in the Northeast.
Yes, exactly. Just like you said, you remember the Tucano, how we waited for all the processes,
4 years.
America, UN, blah, 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 blah.
4 years.
So many, and that 4 years, if they tell you the number of people that have gone because of this war, and both in the federal government side as well as the people, you will know that we've wasted so much time. But now that we now have the equipment, we have the weapons, we just want to give our soldiers time. And just like BKO said, everybody will be happy if this war ends this year. So that people can go back to their normal lives.
Concentrate on development. Start developing
so that people, some people used to tell me that, I know of my friends who went to Maiduguri, then from here they go there to school.
Yes, of course.
I want a situation whereby things like that will still happen. People going there to school and coming back and telling us good stories, because nobody wants to go to a state that is not safe. And that is really, really what we need to see. And this year is, I want to believe this year is a year whereby this war will end, whereby we'll now say Nigeria is not bogged down by insurgency. We'll be looking at how those states that we are bogged down by insurgency are developing. You will now want to say, okay, I want to go to Maiduguri, I want to drive to Maiduguri, I want to drive to Yobe.
The governor
and
told
all
me
those
something.
things are not, we are not afraid.
The governor told me something. He said, we have tremendous yield this year. That's to tell you that the farmers were able to plant more this year. So hearing from the governor, who in the past had criticized the army, that should tell you that there is improvement. We have to acknowledge that improvement, because people are sacrificing their lives to make that improvement happen. Killings will still happen. Setbacks will happen. I posted something on Facebook that, look, in this kind of war, there will be setbacks. Somebody clearly who didn't go to school or wasted his parents' time in school, now said there won't be setback. I said, what's this one saying? A few days later, in a battle with ISWAP in the Lake Chad area, we lost some soldiers. It will always happen. Soldiers are prepared for it. You know, because the enemy that is using IED, using all kinds of weapons, you cannot be
landmines and all that.
Anything can happen. Enemy that has now even started firing rockets into civilian areas.
Wow.
So
all we can do is destroy them.
On the final note, what do we need to defeat Boko Haram?
We have to sustain the intensity of attack. We have to bring in more game-changing weapons, including drones. There are drones now that can last one whole month in the air. Drones powered by solar. They are now doing them one whole month. You can imagine an unmanned area vehicle, you know, airborne for one whole month. Where are those guys going to hide that you will not see them?
Exactly.
You will just keep taking them out. So we need to invest equipment. Equipment can make a big difference. So we need to continue to invest. I thank the president for the efforts that is made, but we need to continue to invest in those equipment, motivate the soldiers to give their best, then constantly to find a way to transfer them. When soldiers stay too long in an area, they get frustrated. They can even turn the gun against their colleagues. So get them, do the rotation a lot more, so that morale will be high.
I am Victor from Enugu State. Thank you for joining us, Victor.
Yeah, thank you, my brothers over there, and Babajide and Asoko. And please, 1 minute, I love when you people are discussing about Boko Haram issue, because I have a brother over there. So I want to ask Babajide, when are you going to do a program concerning the weapons? Because I heard you a few minutes ago, you said you're going to concentrate, you want to dedicate a program on the weapons and machines bought by Nigeria. Please, what things are you going to do? I would love to listen.
Don't worry, we'll promote it.
We'll do the promo.
We'll do the promo.
It will be sometime next week.
Sometime next week?
Yes.
Thank you, Victor.
Means all day long I will hang on with TVC.
Thank you.
Because the way we are looking at it, and now, after equipment, we start talking about the welfare.
Exactly. I think what Babajide's BKO said about rotating is very important.
And they get tired.
They get tired. Fatigue is very it's a serious problem. Yeah.
Soldier will just open fire. And
exactly.
But the ones we met, how were they looking?
The morale was very high.
Well, There's a lot that even from this video you will see. Even from the video you will see.
Very high.
You know,
just that I can't play some of what they are saying. Even coming to the war zone to see them, kind of lifted up their morale, and they were saying that we are happy to see you. We watch you on TV. We can't believe that you come here. You know, so the morale of the army is very high, and I'm expecting a lot this year. I'm expecting a lot. We want this war to end so that these guys can return to their families and enjoy the comfort of their wives.
Exactly. And the collaboration now amongst them is also helping.
It's tremendous.
Really helping us.
You know what happened this Christmas Day? Normally in the past, the chief of air staff would do his own party with his officers and men. That of army too will do his separate. Own. This time around, they went together. Went to do that of the army, and from the army then to Air Force.
That is
unprecedented. The synergy is too much.
That is the synergy.
The synergy, and now the soldiers are admitting that even the synergy is helping them to get results.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
So they know all operations now from the defense headquarters. You know that this is happening, and then the services will queue in. So they know that they have to protect the ground troops. They are going somewhere. So it's not a question of you are just bombing here. There's no coordination.
No coordination.
The place where you are bombing ground troops are now aware.
Exactly.
So we are seeing improvement in those areas, and it's good. Unlike what we had before when some service chiefs were not seeing eye to eye.
Exactly.
How can you win the war when you are not seeing eye to eye? You don't pray in the same mosque.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
2022 is going to be very interesting.
It's going to be very
both in the newsroom and on the
everywhere.
show.
Everywhere.
Yes. Thank you. We are going to be all over.
Yes.
Everywhere.
Thank you for
Abuja,
another
everywhere.
wonderful show.
At the forefront of it all. And we want to thank you for your sacrifice, especially in the Northeast.
Exactly.
Where people were with their family this Christmas. You sacrificed, you were with the Nigerian army. So anytime you want to criticize him, you better think twice, because he's talking from an like an active participant. He knows what he's really talking about, not just.
I'm a civilian soldier already. There were some military vehicles that I entered that no civilian has ever entered. Even the generals told me, you are the first civilian to enter this. Wow. So I'm already part of them. All that is left is for them to give me a rifle. that's the edge.
And a title too.
Yes. Yes,